So just to get a few things out of the way here, thank you so much. Want to welcome everybody for being here. In your packets, there's a scorecard. Everybody who was invited to come and speak were also given some questions that they needed to answer when they gave their 10-minute comments. So if you look in your packet, you'll see a scorecard. And when each person comes up, write their name down, and you can score whether or not they answered these questions to your satisfaction, because these are things that you can use when you go to vote. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to remember exactly what you heard from everybody. So take a minute, you can write down what Josh said, score. There's a copy right there being waved around. You can score Josh, and then we will bring up the next candidate. As you know, Kara does not endorse candidates. However, we do a lot of work with elected...
Sorry, we're going to have Tim come up first. Yeah, I'm sorry. Before, yeah, we had him first on the agenda.
Alrighty then, I guess I'm being...
After Tim, we'll back
Here's Tim.
Alrighty, Tim.
Sorry.
Good introduction, thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're moved around a little bit in the agenda, so I'll be a little bit briefer than I was going to, but can everybody hear me okay? We'll keep this out. Can everybody hear me?
Yep.
All right, so my name is Tim Robertson. I'm Executive Director of the North Valley Labor Federation. Very proud to represent 75 local union affiliates in the area, including SEIU Local 10-1 and the United Domestic Workers and many others. We have about 42,000 members, and while Kara can't endorse, we do, and we work very hard on behalf of our campaign, our candidates, getting our members involved. But we're also very proud of the work that Kara does, mobilizing seniors. It's such an important part of the electorate, and I know most of you are retired union members. Is it all or most? Most. Okay, most. If they're not, we'll sign. Everybody should sign up, right? So we're very proud of this relationship and all of the great work that Vishnu and Jody and Nan and Addie and Chuck and everybody else have been doing, not just in this area to raise the issues that are important to seniors and to everyone else, but around the state. It really is just a marvelous institution. We're very proud that it's under the umbrella of the labor movement. So to talk, it's a little weird now that we've had candidates, but imagine that I was speaking at the beginning. So these elections right now and the issues that we're talking about nationally and locally are about values, right? We are fighting for the soul of our nation. We're fighting for the soul of our communities. There's so much caustic debates and dialogue going on about things that we agree about, things that we disagree about. But in many places we've gone against the soul of our nation. I think, as I was growing up, something that was told to me was that we should help those that are in need. Not the wealthy, right? Who's in need? Seniors, young people, people that are impoverished, the disabled, working people. We have a shrinking middle class. We need help. What is happening in Washington right now? Who's getting the help? The richest of the rich. We had a $1.5 trillion tax cut. Trillion. Do you know how many zeros are in a trillion? 12. But one of them's a 5, so 11. But it's like this long. Depends on how big they are. And this is, I don't know. Some people have a ethic that we should, have a responsible budget. Not a big deficit. That's a Republican core belief, right? Is that something we're following right now? I don't think so. They must have forgot that one, because their real core belief is to support the donor class, because they're who paid for them in the first place, right? So the way I see it, the donor class, the richest of the rich that just spend $10,000, $20,000 on a candidate here and there, just made the best investment in the history of mankind, because they got $1.5 trillion of our money back for it, and it's gonna blow our budget up. And the question that was asked a second ago, and what that we all know, that since then they've already said, oh, the budget is strained. Medicare, we gotta look at this. This is super expensive. Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, all these programs that our country was founded upon helping those in need. We don't have a budget for it anymore because we've given inconceivable amounts of money to the richest of the rich because that's what they paid for. So if our value is that we need to fight and provide resources to those that need it to improve their lives, then we need to make a change in Washington. This just seems far-fetched that we need to be talking about honor, dignity. You know, we've had these rules in Washington that, you know, all of these representatives have followed. You know, you have a hearing for a Supreme Court justice, you know, in a timely manner. And you don't say, oh wait, you know what, we're gonna keep that open for 9 months so we can get our person in there. You don't say, you know what, we have 51 people in the Senate, we're gonna go with the most extreme right-wing person ever and just try and make the rest of the country deal with it. Historically, we've tried to find people in the middle. Right now, the people in control in Washington are bending every rule, violating every norm, stomping on every neck to get everything that they want, and it's flying in the face of our values. It's damaging the lives of working people. It's threatening seniors. You know, Social Security has already been cut. It's continually cutting. They're attacking the workers on the other side of the desk at Social Security, cutting the funding to a point where it's not a very good service. Well, it is a great service, but they want it to be not a very good service so that more people will complain and they can say, oh, that's why we need to cut Social Security and privatize it. Because their whole point is because they don't want to provide services to those in need. They don't want Social Security to be a public entity. They want it to be a private business because they want people making money off of it, not providing care. So that's how important this election is. Those people are there right now and they are gunned up and they are fighting and they are winning. But we've been fighting too. Let's talk about immigration. How many people in here are immigrants?
We all are.
Round of applause. Direct immigrants. It's a good question. Whose parents were immigrants? Whose parents were immigrants?
My great-grandmother was born in this country before Columbus came.
So Fran might be the only one in here that can't claim to be an immigrant.
Well, half of her
But at some point we all are.
There were some Irish people.
And when I was growing up, there was this image, and I've been thinking about this for the last couple of years. People coming on a boat, weeks and weeks on a journey, you get to the harbor, and you see this. Over the horizon, you see this beautiful statue welcoming. Does everyone know what's written on the statue, on the tablet?
No.
Yeah, you got it. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. We're the beacon for immigrants. This is the place that you can come to live a better life. This is our value. This is the value that I grew up with. Now, what do the people in Washington want instead of that beacon? A wall saying, this is not the place for you. We like it the way it is without new people. These are violations of our values. We are a nation of immigrants, a nation of hope, not a nation that fears other people. We should be welcoming them to the lifestyle that we enjoy and can provide. Does everyone agree? Okay, who doesn't? Who doesn't agree with this? Denim? Trump?
The whole GOP.
The whole, they're at least willing to legislate as though they believe that, right?
They're willing to toe the party line.
This is the fight. They're willing to toe the party line. They're willing to make whatever divisions they want amongst people like us so that they can get this big $1.5 trillion windfall and get their donors as much money as possible. And that's the stakes right now. And that's why us going back and taking Washington is so important. So how do we express our values? How do we get that back in Washington? Vote. That's it. Vote. Who here is going to vote?
And talk.
Who here is going to talk to everyone in your family and make sure that they vote?
Oh,
Who's going to knock on doors and talk to total strangers about voting?
Who has been?
Who has been? Who has been? So this is critical, right? We have the message. We just need to be out there. They have the mail, they have the dollars, they have TV ads and you know what, and they're gonna get all that information out there, but nothing is more important than face-to-face communication, and that's what we're good at. The labor movement. Seniors. That's what we're good at, and that's what we do. The North Valley Labor Federation has been mobilizing its members for months, participating in actions, knocking on doors, doing phone banking. This weekend, we're going to have 2 big precinct walks in Modesto and Manteca, talking to voters about our endorsed candidates, trying to take back Washington for working people, for seniors, for those that need it. We're not the only ones. There's hundreds of people that are doing this. Many of you are, and it's so critically important. The amount of work that's gone into this district from dozens of organizations, thousands of people over the last 18, 19, 20, 21 months has been astounding. And we are about 6 weeks away from what I consider to be the most important day of our lives. And continuing to fight that fight from this point to the end, we're going to get there, but we have to keep doing what we've been doing. I also just want to briefly talk about Working America. You know, since it's all part of the labor movement, this has been the most ambitious program that we've had in this district ever. So for the last 18 months, we've had between 12 and 15 paid canvassers going out every single day to talk to voters in this district and swing voters. But what are we talking to them about? Working family issues. How many people in this room know somebody that votes Republican because their parents vote Republican and they never really thought about it and they don't really connect that vote with their economic success? I think everybody does, right? So we have been out there reaching to each and every one of those people in the district every day, over 100,000 doors knocked, to find these people and get them to say, you know what, regardless of my party, regardless of what news channel I watch, I care about healthcare. I care about there being good jobs and retirement here. And over the last 19 months, Working America, as part of the labor movement, has signed up 32,000 members in Stanislaus County and southern San Joaquin County to join the labor movement as Working America members. How about that? So now this part of our program is going back to these folks who've already told us what their priority issues are, be it education, healthcare, jobs, retirement security, and giving them a choice based on those issues. Not the ones that they hear on Fox News, not the ones that they hear elsewhere, but the ones that matter to their pocketbook. And having awesome, professional members of the labor movement going, having face-to-face conversations with them, and asking them to decide based on the issues that matter. And it's working. Every day we have 15 people going out talking to all of those members and many members of the public. Every weekend we have at least 50, as many as 100 union members that are out there knocking on doors as well for our endorsed candidates. So to talk about representation, healthcare. You know, we have a member of Congress here who told us that he cared about the health of the district. He said in a town hall in front of 1,000 people that he wouldn't vote for repeal of the Affordable Care Act because of how much it would hurt the district. You know, he spent a few minutes in Turlock, listened to a few people, and was like, oh, I guess I should say this. Not minutes after he got back to his home in Alexandria, Virginia, and started talking to the donor class. And these folks were like, hang on there, we're trying to make a whole lot of money off of this. And if you keep telling these people that we're gonna protect their health care, you're gonna be in trouble. Like that, went back on his promise. Voted to take away health care from over 100,000 people in Congressional District 10, like that. We talked about the tax cut. He's gonna be in town tomorrow talking about how cutting taxes of over $1 trillion to the 1%, the billionaires, is good for us. He's gonna be here tomorrow. He's gonna try to tell us that to our faces. You know, we know they told us, oh, there's going to be so many bonuses and raises and job creation from all of this big giveaway to corporations. Oh, it's just going to, but we all knew, they all knew that that wasn't true. But they say what they want, you know, they go to bed at night, they move on, and and they line their pockets. That happens. But we have to fight back. The outcome of this is they get rich and our services start to disappear. I said that a moment ago. We know it. We know this playbook. This playbook, if you worked at a public school district or a public district of some kind, the person on the other side of the bargaining table starts as soon as your contract's over talking about how hard the budget is. So the next time you come up, there's, oh, we can't give you raises this time. We've seen this. We've seen this every day of our lives as union members. This is our country. And it's an unfathomable amount of money that they've stolen from us. But it's up to us to take it back. The supervisor races here in this county. We have one current supervisor who, in responding to public employees fighting for a higher wage, coming to the Board of Supervisors meeting, requesting, you know, that they get treated better at the negotiation table. Maybe we don't want to pay as much for health care. Maybe we want to be a little bit better off this year than last year. Said a few years ago, and I quote, "You're lucky to have jobs." So that's what we're talking about here. The other person who's running for supervisor has been a state senator for many years. Year in and year out has a 0%, every once in a while it's like a 2% or something like that, but more often than not a 0% voting record for labor in Sacramento. 0%. Like, that's hard, right? If you go down this list, you look, there's 27 bills that everyone in this room would look at one line and say, well, that seems like a good idea. You know, without looking too much into it. We obviously agreed with all of them. And this person, day in and day out, looks at these bills and says, that might help workers. That's not for me. So they're the people that are running. One to stay on the Board of Supervisors. And then there's others that are with us. You heard from one earlier. You're going to hear from one in a second. This is our chance here in this county, in Stanislaus County, because we've had 4 to 5 people in these seats for decades that think that public employees are lucky to have a job. That if they could eliminate the whole like public employee service aspect of county government, they probably would. You know, much less think that public employees should have a better life. But, you know, but these services should be privatized, if at all. You know, and maybe some of the stuff we just shouldn't be doing for people because they should pull themselves up by the bootstraps. That's how these people think. So these are the stakes. It's our values. It's our values, core values as Americans and other members of our community that we fight to bring people to rise up. And the only way we can do that right now is at the ballot box. And I appreciate everybody here for being engaged, for fighting on the issues that are important to seniors and that are important to everyone else. And I appreciate your commitment not just to vote, but to spend every minute that you can from here until November 6th, getting everyone that you know and everyone that you don't know that you can reach to vote as well, because there's no time more important than now that we stand up together and fight. Thank you very much.